What's up, everybody? It's Enlightened Masculinity, and the show may be changing. We were just talking in the apprentice group about changing the theme, or changing this may become IMC Radio, and for rebranding or whatever. But stay tuned for that. For now, it's Enlightened Masculinity. I'm Yogi Chris, PhD, aka Pimpin' Yogi, founder of Ninth Limb Yoga and manager of Base One Stoic Temple here in San Jose, where I live with Arashti Bazaar, the #1 seducer on the planet. And we got two other of his students here, Alex Palacio, Najim Hoque, and they were just here around a week ago. Was Christmas or whatever that means. And so they were here and we watched The Matrix Resurrections. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about family time during the holidays. I like to do this wordplay on holidays because days of the week is like, as opposed to being strong, week strong. And then days of the week is like your days, dazed and confused. So it's like days of the week. Holidays are the holy days. So these are the days that are holy, and we're in a daze about them. And so during the holy days, my brothers came over, a couple other brothers came over too, Shamir and others. And, Najim cooked. Alex was just hanging out. It was more casual than it's ever been. It's always been like all business and professionalism around here during gatherings and things like that, moments of learning and studying and whatever. And this is a more casual family time atmosphere. And I want to tell a story about that also. But first, I want to check in with Najim and Alex, and also talk about Matrix Resurrections, Matrix 4, and the LGBTQ fucking agenda that was totally just throughout that movie. And they just shat on the first three Matrix, just all over it. That's pretty much, I said my piece about it now. But let's check in with you guys. So, Alex, I'll start with you because you're the closest. You're right around the corner, man. You live like 40 minutes away in like Redwood City or something like that?
Yeah, about 35 minutes away. If there's no traffic, Hayward, California.
Hayward.
Yeah.
Hayward, California in the house, because we're in South Bay, San Jose.
East Bay right here.
Yeah, man. So the two nights you came over, and it's epic. People don't know how epic it is because Arash is not really available to people. A lot of people would want to just like come through. It's like he's always said, you're a celebrity to people who know who you are. And you're not a celebrity, people don't know who you are. So some people, like a guy has literally been through from Romania, and he was about to go back to his country, and he just had to stop by. And he stopped by the base, and he was crying for like 2 minutes. He was sobbing in the yard, and he was just like so touched to be there. And it was so important to him. It saved his life, this information and this and that. So to that guy, it was a celebrity experience. Even being around us, the guys that lived here, it was like, whoa. And then there's like us, we live here, and it becomes more and more common being around him. But constantly I remind myself, and he reminds us in different ways. Like, I keep that awareness pretty well, that I'm dealing with like a world-class person here that, don't regard it as something less. It's not like a commoner. It's a world-class thing. But now you guys got to come and just have a casual experience, and you're just from 35 minutes down the road. So that's an example of, he's right around the corner. I moved from Florida and Texas over here, but he was just like right around the corner for you. So, holidays and family time was really IMC family time, and that was pretty dope, man. Had you ever had like a holiday, like, do you keep up with your friends and whatever from like, living around here, and just like, do you have share holiday time with the people you grew up with?
Yeah. I've had, certain holidays, like festivities, certain little parties, gatherings that I go to. But when it comes to like family and things like that, the family it's just always awkward. There's always tension around, I just never understood meeting up with family for like 4 hours. I like to go in, check in, and just go if I can, most of the time. But being around the base and the brothers and everything like that, it was a completely different experience than just being at the family. When I visited my family, I couldn't wait to get the hell out of there. Really, I just couldn't. Walked in, watch the kids unwrap some presents, talk a little bit, and then boom, I just shot straight to San Jose. So that was the goal. And man, yeah, just the casual experience of hanging out with everybody. The vibe was so warm and welcoming. Najim cooked, man. It was nice. It was a nice night.
It's always a treat, us beasts, when someone cooks for us, even when it's one of our brothers. It doesn't have to be a chick. It's fucking Najim. It was excellent. And Najim, brother, man, the difference between a chosen family. I mean, you're a spiritual seeker. You're a pilgrim. You travel the world discovering, your truth and the difference between chosen kin and the kin that you're born into. Talk about it. Tell me about it.
Yeah, it's from a very young age. I want to say maybe 16 or 17 is when I started realizing, like, I mean, I went through a lot of crazy shit during that time, high school. So when you go through crazy shit, you hit rock bottom or whatever. Even a couple of years later, the same shit happened. It's just, so when you hit rock bottom, you're always trying to look for a better, like, or like something more bigger than you to help you get out this space. Maybe
Yeah.
I thought maybe, oh, okay, maybe I need to be a little bit more religious, then I'll stop going through these problems or something like that. Maybe I'm not in touch with my like spiritual side.
Yeah,
So
gotcha.
from a young age, I just felt like some connection to a higher power, and I always was trying to look for that. Until this day, I still seek that higher power, and that's why I'm here with you brothers, because I haven't seen anything else like it. And even though I traveled the world and been to many temples, been to many mosques, been around many other brothers and stuff like this, but not like this.
Right.
Like this.
That's very interesting. Talk about that. So you've been
True.
you travel many places, and you're when I met you, you were one of the most devout Muslims I'd ever met personally, and and you've had experiences traveling the world, traveling in the East, and being a lot of places, and there's a lot of power and a spiritual ecstasy being part of a community where everybody's like participating in a common practice, and we're all vibing with each other, talking about the same thing. I mean, you in a spiritual group, you hold a lot of the same values, and if you're expressive and people talk about the core issues and pillars and things of your faith, there's a lot of alignment between the people, so that there's a camaraderie and there's a lot of energy that flows in that. And but then you're talking about the IMC crew and being around, and what you're experiencing through Arash and whatever that was impressive to you. Tell us about that. That's a great reference for that.
So yeah, there was a lot of similarities when it came to living in a temple and traveling the world and stuff. And what we learned a lot about teaching and learning. So knowledge, basically. And that's like the main thing we taught and learned was, when you learn something, you teach it. That's our job as a human, pretty much. So when I saw AZD teaching, I was like, man, this is exactly what I've been growing up watching. Watching, being at the temples, and my family and the imams and stuff, like, that's what they do. They talk, they preach, basically. They preach, and they say that in order for someone to change, you have to change their heart. So when AZD speaks to me, he speaks to my heart, because a lot of what he says matches with my life. When it comes to having multiple women, I've been wanting that for a long time, and nobody has ever showed me the way. Even the people who read daily in the Quran, they read daily. You can marry up to 1, 2, 3, 4. Even those people can't even explain it.
Yeah.
So it's just a bunch of people just fucking hiding their true selves and lying, and just trying to impress, I guess. I don't know who the fuck they're trying to impress, but it's just, when I come here, I don't see no bullshit, and I fucking love that. I don't have time for that shit.
It's very interesting. They're being tapped in with the information, from where it comes from, instead of like reading something that's separate from, where your experience is. And so you can't really expound on the truth of something. It's out of your reference, just reading some poetry or whatever. Yeah, that's the truth, man. And this is very powerful. The truth unleashes the fury of the logic of the universe. When you're really tapped into something and able to explain it and able to be it, and it's just so congruent, and the power just comes through because there's a lot of power in it. And it's a very successful mating strategy that has a lot of integrated philosophy, that is a lifestyle built around it, that's just so strong, so well thought out, so clear, so transparent, that it kind of, it's like they say, whatever that quote is like the truth is, I don't even know what the quote is, but something about how the strength of truth is like intrinsic to it. Like the truth, you just need to let it be known and it'll defend itself. The falseness will go away when you just allow the truth to be said, because it'll just dispel all that stuff. So, man, so that goes in like a spiritual direction, you know, and that was great having you around at the base, and you bring that spiritual presence with, you know, the way that you cook and prepare food seems like a very, like an offering. It's like a godly prayer almost kind of experience. That's what it feels like while, and you know, and it's also just a generous nature and very hospitable. The hospitality of that.
In our culture, coming from you know, Indian, or to be more specific, Bangladeshi background.
Yeah,
you know,
Bangladeshi.
when people come to our house, it's always like, have some tea, or you know, this and that. So I grew up around it. It's nothing for me really, but it to me, it's like, you know, like, these are my brothers. Like, when you eat with your bros, like it strengthens the bond. You know, it's because now we're eating together, you know. So that's how I feel. Like, not how I feel, that's what we've been taught. There's like, the people you eat with, your bond's gonna become stronger. And that's just normal. So that's why I do that. And then, you know, it's like you said, it's like an offering, you know. It's like, if I would bring you guys flowers and the malas and put it around your neck and stuff like that. But you, I don't know where to buy those shits over here. So.
Yeah, right. It's pretty
so,
cool.
You know, well, what can I do? I know how to cook. Oh yeah, I know these motherfuckers like to eat. Let's do that. But
there you go.
You know,
that's what it is.
It's my pleasure. It's like, whatever. It's like, you know, we all got to eat. Let's all eat. Now we're done. And let's get to business.
For sure. That's great. You know, the story I was alluding to earlier, I was talking about the first Christmas that I was part of IMC Nation. I'd come and visited Arash a couple of times in September and October of that year. And then Christmas was happening. There was an event that was happening in Hollywood at Vince Kelvin's pad that Arash and Vince were doing a lot of collaborations at the time. And there was like 5 students or so that were in town. I think Brian Casella was there. Somebody was there playing a guitar or whatever. I remember at the time I was like, I still played a lot of guitar, and I had thought about it. For some reason, I think I'd almost had like the vision of being there, but I didn't go. I didn't go to the event because money. It's ridiculous when you think about like how much money I invested in the following like 2 or 3 years. Like, I had the money at the time, but I didn't go because I was penny pinching or whatever, for whatever reason. It would have been too much inconvenience, you know, the expenses of travel during that time and whatever. But they did this whole thing where they actually hung out on Christmas, and there was a stream, and I was part of the stream as a student just attending it. And I saw these guys hanging out for Christmas that had not gone and like hung out with their family. It wasn't family time at the time. I wasn't, I don't know if I was even watching that from my family's place. I don't know if I went and saw my family or if I was still in my college room at University of Florida or whatever. But I remember watching and almost wishing I was there, knowing I could have been there. There was an opportunity in that first Christmas of being part of IMC Nation that I could have been around these guys, Vince and Arash and Brian Casella, and then the other guys that were there, just hanging out in the pad casually. I wasn't used to that. It was all professional up until then. And, you know, there's a student paying or whatever, and I would have paid to go to the event, but then the hangout afterwards, I think it must have been a New Year's. I think it was a New Year's event because I remember they were staying up till midnight. And that was so cool. I mean, I feel like I was half a part of it because I was online and I got to see it and I'd had some sort of experience and realization. You can't force the flower to blossom. You can't force the tree to grow. Like, it's going to go at me as a student, I developed at the rate that I did. But there are decisions along the way, opportunities to either make or pass up. And I remember Alex messaging me, kind of curious, can I come? When should I be there? I'm sure it was kind of an unfamiliar experience a little bit, like, man, we're just going to come hang out. Like, is this all right? You sure? And, you know, and it'll happen again this Friday. You guys are invited again Friday. Everybody's invited Friday night, not Saturday night, but Friday night. If you want to come over, that'll be super dope. So that was the story I wanted to share. I don't really know where to take it after that. I mean, Matrix 4. Did you see the Matrix 4 with us, Alex?
Oh yeah, the whole thing. Watched it all the way through, man. And you know, it was a trip. Just the amount of subliminals that are within it. I thought there would be some, right? But I didn't realize there would be that many within the movie. Just completely political, swinging one way, obviously to the left, right? And it was just a trip. They ruined the fucking movie, man. They ruined it.
Yeah, man. I had a feeling it was going to go that way when I saw that only one of the Wachowski sisters was directing it. It wasn't both of them.
Yeah, and that's a mind fuck in of its own, how they both decided to transition into women.
Yeah, for sure. It's amazing.
So I knew about the Wachowski brothers doing that trans shit like almost a year ago, maybe.
Yeah.
And it was so funny. AZD watched the whole movie and he was just stuck on that. At the end of the movie, he was just stuck on that. He couldn't get it out of his head. He was like, the Wachowski brothers became the Wachowski sisters? Like, how does what the fuck? It's so weird. Like, I can't like these fucking people, man. Like it's like they almost like rubbing it in our face that this shit is real. Like, you know, it's like they're telling you straight up, like, here, we're fucking you guys over. It's in the movie too. Look, all the subliminals that they say, you know, it's fucking, we're just like,
yeah, you know, and why I would agree in a way that it's like so many subliminals, but it's kind of like it just comes from a wrong frame, a wrong perspective, like their point of reference. It's kind of like if somebody's sometimes if you're a really high level teacher and a student asks a question, sometimes the questions just like aren't even really valid because they come from a place that what really needs to be answered, what understanding they need is not exactly the question they're asking. Like it's just coming from a wrong place. Or it's like if your girl is trying to ask you a question, but she's mad at you about something. And so her madness comes out in whatever she's saying, however she's saying it. Even if she's trying to be polite, it's like it's coming across, just coming from the wrong place. Even if it's the right words, it's just coming from the wrong place. So it's like this fourth movie, like all of the subliminals, the whole movie is coming from the wrong place. It's directed from a guy that became a girl. And so everything from the get-go is being that unique kind of LGBTQ, just kind of stand out from the right beginning, the girl with the purple hair, the short purple hair, and the black lead character is like a younger version of Morpheus, and he's kind of flamboyant and a dandy and in his movements. And I mean, he's a masculine guy. He's straight. He acts straight, but he's a dandy. He moves femininely. And so they like feminized Morpheus. And then just on and on. So every scene comes from the wrong frame. It's like the person talking from the wrong emotional tone. It's just off. Everything is off. And then of course the actual theme and plot of them, you know, the things, the scenes that made it move along are, you know, just a bunch of scenes of lesbians or gays or I mean, when you look at the deeper thing, how the old women are like coddling each other when they're deciding about what to do with Neo, and what was the other thing? I mean, there's a bunch of matriarchal, the straight relationships are female lead. It's just like there's not one. The only strong male character is the white guy that's the business guy that turns into Mr. Smith or whatever. And he's like half evil. He's like an anti-hero or something, which is great. I guess that's cool. And then pretty much, I mean, even Neo, like fucking, what's the guy's name? Keanu Reeves' character. I mean, I guess he was fine. At the end, he turns kind of like Beta. He turns like into a Portland kind of guy. So that was the Matrix Resurrections in a nutshell. Recently, I was looking up Godzilla, actually, the King of the Titans. That was a pretty interesting. I looked up like a plot breakdown of that. It was pretty sick. So if you guys ever want to, I don't know, check out Godzilla, King of the Titans. That was a good one. So that's pretty cool that the brothers were hanging out. There was Christmas, whatever that means. New Year's Eve is right around the corner. And these holidays, you know, there was a lot of emotion in it for me, just kind of the cycle, so many, who knows what it is from childhood or whatever, that I feel the holiday, I feel the Christmas. There's like, and I see it a lot around in people like that. At least during Christmas, there was like, I don't know, maybe it's just all in my own mind and I'm just like projecting it, or it's like, there is some feelings to be had about that. It's like the world is turning on this event or whatever, like the store shut down, people, they all cancel their plans or make plans to go travel some distance and go see their family and be miserable around each other, and then maybe go drink at night or something. It's like real basic, and everybody's doing it, and it's like the whole program of society just kind of blip. It just like it like goes off of the fucking rhythm for that one night. You know, like us as monks, we live, I mean, I live with AZD, like sure, Monday is different from Sunday is different from Tuesday, but pretty much Monday through Sunday is every day is the same. Like I wake up at the same time, the same morning. It's a different morning routine each day, but there's cycles to this thing that, like my schedule, sometimes I forget what day of the week it is, and it's not because I'm high. It's just because it's all kind of, each day is on a schedule. I like it that way. It's disciplined, and then out of nowhere comes this holiday. Like it's some day that's out of the cycle. And why? Why am I shifting my whole cycle and my habits and behaviors and whatever around this thing that's invisible to me, that everybody else is doing it? All right, well, that's interesting. I mean, that's like a mass prayer almost, of like 200 million people to the same, entity or whatever. Even if the entity wasn't even real, I mean, it becomes real when 200 million people do that. But instead we unplugged and we hung out with our friends, and pretty much with no regard to Christmas, but with more Christmas cheer and more conversation and more enjoyment than I think a lot of people, even though some of us were even sick. I think we had the flu, or COVID or whatever, Omicron. So, family time for you guys. What was it like having, Alex, for you, having chosen family, versus the family that you were brought up in? I mean, you're still in your 20s, brother, and we got decades and decades to look forward to in redesigning the culture. At some point, it's probably going to be the cool thing not to celebrate Christmas, and we were at the forefront of that.
Yeah, man, I believe that we're at the forefront of a lot of things, right? I think that we're currently doing a lot of things in this point of time that later on people will eventually slowly catch on to, but obviously they're not fast enough and don't have enough wit to understand what we're trying to do, right? They might hear what we do, but we have to really explain it to other people, and like what's it may not even be a point in that, but fuck, man, as opposed to regular family, I mean, I grew up, every Christmas was, my parents were fairly poor, and they did everything they could to make the holidays good. But my family that I come from is just flat out dysfunctional, flat out. And currently where I'm at, and from where I've worked from, obviously nothing. It used to be nothing. I'm currently more so the black sheep of the family. I'm more so
No kidding.
financially, mentally. I'm like the only one that doesn't have a background record. My cousin's like pregnant. Her boyfriend was in a gang, was murdered. He was in jail. That guy would come around. They got kids. I don't even know who the father is to some of these kids. It's just like when I'm there, I'm just like, what the fuck is going on around here? The family sits around. They don't even know what to say to each other, man. It's just like, how are we supposed to catch up when there's 20 of us cramped into this small room? How are we supposed to ever connect, right? And they don't even understand half of what I'm doing. They really don't. But that's a good thing, because I don't have to give a fuck about their opinions. I really don't at the end of the day. So
Yeah.
being on this path and just being around a bunch of guys and brothers where we're connected on many different levels. We all agree on a lot of things. And to be fucking honest, man, back in the day, just coming up in the rap hip hop world, being part of the music scene, which I still am, there's a lot of just like lost liberal type of people in that environment. I used to be a liberal, which is crazy. AZD helped me realize what's really going on politically. And that set me forward to being like, you know what, these people are fucking weird, man. I can't even hang out with some of my old music friends just because we don't click like that. I realize they're fucking communists, bro, deep down.
Yeah.
It's just I just love being around all of you guys. It's perfect, man. I feel at home. Really do.
Right on. Right on. Earlier when you were saying about explaining this stuff to people and people don't get it, like what is it that you're referring to?
You know, things like, you know, multiple women, stuff like that. How we all believe multiple women when we want to have multiple women. Yeah, that's really it. The studying, the stoicism, the intellectual side of things. You know, people will be like, yeah, it sounds cool, but I'm like, you don't really get it though. You don't really understand what true discipline is. You don't really know what it's like to work on your passions, grow your business, wake up at 3, 4 in the morning to train however many hours a day, 1, 2, 3, 4 hours a day, and to just do it consistently, consecutively, cold showers, even in the midst of the fucking winter when it's 37 degrees in the morning.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah. I've been going to the park at 37 degrees. It's fun. Do pull-ups. Your hands are, you swear your hands are ice cubes after you do like pull-ups on this metal bar. It's 37 degrees and you're already squeezing it. Like if you ever notice you pull-ups and your fingers get white and you've been gripping for a lot, but then on top of that, it's a super cold bar. And when you're done, your hand retains the shape and doesn't change. So for sure, man. Yeah. And that's exactly it. You know, I rarely get deep into any sort of dialogue with anybody outside of IMC Nation. I very quickly am assessing, like, are they into game? Are they studying this stuff? And are they married, girlfriend, this or that? Okay, cool. Do you talk to other girls too? Or you don't, or does she know that? Or are you honest? Like if they're not interested, I just kind of cut them off. And I have gone that route earlier years ago where I would work on convincing guys because there's some logical things that you can say to them that kind of move them along in understanding that thinking, A, that's not what they want. B, that they're heading towards disaster if they don't handle something about it. And you got to spell out like what that disaster is. And it kind of depends on the person, like which route they're going to go. So you got to get to know them to be able to accurately spell out like how their relationship is going to fail if they don't exercise their masculinity. Either they're going to completely fall suppression or they're going to lie and cheat and it's just going to turn into a disaster. And a lot of guys, they don't want to hear that. So how you navigate to that conclusion, if you want to get them to that conclusion, you got to kind of be touchy-feely, walking on glass or whatever. And is that worth it? No, the answer is no, because they're cowards. You'll save 1 in 100 of them that actually will be receptive to that wisdom as you tell them. And you'll get all sorts of wrapped up in a person in the conversation with someone that logically they don't make sense to you. You're not making sense to them. It turns into a little bit of a frustration and, they just don't belong. They're a different breed. Like, and then the stoicism. Yeah. Nobody knows. They think they know, they don't know, and this is the process of learning to demonstrate the value that those disciplines create in us, so that the value is not just that we woke up so early and we worked out and we read a book and we journaled, and that's great, but it yields a certain kind of person to do that over and over. And that kind of person is the beacon. It's like the star of truth. That is the value that we go for, that is so attractive, that the kind of person that's attracted to you will be very interested in your process and understanding that stuff. And as you talk to your fans, it becomes a little bit of an echo chamber, but you get high self-esteem because you start to have higher standards for how people should treat you when you only interact with people that really respect you. So we could go on forever, but we have a gathering coming up. So I want to give you guys the last word, of course. Najim, you're coming to the party coming up. You're coming to the gathering in January. You were the first person to register for the Millionaires Club this time around. I mean, we have 2 investors, including myself, so 3 investors, but you're the first party contestant. And so really looking forward to having you here, man. I don't know if we'll have you on the podcast again before then. So if you want to state out loud any intentions, or if you're anything you want to say about the training, or just anything at all, man, the table is yours for a minute.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to this. I was asking a couple of the guys, what were some of the questions you guys get asked, just to get a little heads up at the party. So what I'm trying to get out of this party is really to break that part of me where it's just like, it's not like, maybe it is the rejection, but it's like this, like I'm able to get a girl's phone number, but I'm not able to call her. I don't know what that is about me. It's just like, I don't know what I'm afraid of. I maybe sometimes I feel like I'm being too like needy, so I won't call the girl or something like that. Oh. So I'm trying to break myself free from that, because I'm tired of being with one girl.
Yeah, that's a good thing to bring up to Arash when we start the party or before sometime. And so he can talk about that and how to, when you make a plan, and so that you're getting the number for a reason, and then you follow up with them about that reason and how to make a solid plan, how to make something that's attractive, it's seductive, the girl wants to do by getting to know the girl. And that could even be something that's drilled in the party that you practice. Everybody practices number closing all these bitches and make a plan with them. And, just for practice, why the fuck not? Because that's what they're there for. Pay some fine looking females that have some social skills to come and let us just practice whatever the fuck we want on them, because we have no investment in them at all. And they're there to be polite, and we're here to be cool with our brothers and have a good night and have a good time. And, best of luck. Like, try to get the girl.
It's fucking incredible, like what AZD and you guys have brought to the fucking pickup games. Like, even if we don't really consider ourselves like the pickup artists and shit, but like if we were, like, this is like what you guys provide is just like, you can't fucking get this nowhere. Like, oh dude, come on. So it's just amazing to be a part of this. It's fucking dope as fuck.
Sure, for sure. And really, these are just words, but coming to the experience, you haven't been to a party yet, actually. So this is going to be real exciting. And part of the party ticket is going to Spearmint Rhino with us on that Friday night also. So that'll be real exciting. And then we'll have a little house gathering on that Saturday night. The whole experience, it's just ridiculous value for $1,500. It's sick. It should be much more, but holiday cheer, I guess, and it'll still be sold out. So whatever. So what's up? So Alex P, last word, brother, because I gotta set up for the next stream. If anything's top of mind, or if you just want to sign off, it's like a little bit of a time capsule. Each one of these episodes you're part of, and shout out Tony K for posting all these, so he'll make sure you see where you guys get posted.
Yeah, man, I just feel really blessed. Life has just been nothing but on the up and up, and it's only continuing to get better and better. I keep continuing to feel stronger and stronger as my character develops, right? And just fuck, man, I'm thankful, and being able to be in a position to where I could set my businesses up to move out there in San Jose and be with you guys.
Oh, we didn't even talk about that.
It's a true evolution, man. True evolution. By being in this position to move out to San Jose, which is a place I've always wanted to be. I mean, it knocks out so many birds with one stone. It forces me in a position to where, I got to hire somebody, get everything set up properly, and be able to just be out there and do what I got to do. And like, man, I'm fucking ready. Let's go.
Yeah, that's very exciting. The tribe is growing, what we're doing here in San Jose, and, wherever we go, because I see myself possibly traveling the world as I develop these communities in various places, Sydney and Perth and Europe, different cities, even East Coast, Miami. Take this shit on a global tour, because I was designed. My animal is designed for travel like that, and I'm very good at it. And So we'll see where this grows. We keep growing and developing. And that's part of you guys going live on your Instagram while we're going live on Zoom. And so we get a healthy audience. And these episodes have been doing really well lately on Enlightened Masculinity. So Tony K, he posted the Genius link there. Make sure everybody leave a review. It helps us show up in the ratings and everything. And, you know, we're taking it to the top, Enlightened Masculinity, whether we change the brand name to IMC Radio or IMC TV, or we have a second podcast for that or whatever. Either way, we're succeeding and we're staying consistent. And, you know, I doubled the business here during COVID. Again, this last December was twice the bit. It was 117% improvement over the previous December during COVID. So we'll just keep going. Like everybody else is slowing down, we keep speeding up. So I'll see you guys on the next episode next week here at EM. Thank you, Alex and Najim, being my guests, and all the apprentices making it happen. Miracle J scheduling everything. Shout out to all of y'all. Os.